How are you all doing tonight? My name is Bigbobbedboi, and welcome to my first video on Shadowlands Alpha. Yeah, I can't believe they let me in Shadowlands Alpha. I've never even been in a beta before, but we're in and we're going to do a lot of content on this. So far, I've been having an amazing time with it. So let's get right into this one on the Alliance starting scenario. So the new character customization is in. So this is what it looks like when you start a new character. I decided to do this on a hunter. Similar to the Night Elf Hunter I have on Classic, which we don't have any videos of yet, but they're coming. So I went ahead and made this hunter, and then we'll go ahead and start this up. For some reason they still show you starting with a tiger. You don't get that pet anymore. I'm not sure why it shows that on there. Alright, so all the cutscenes are not final, so I'm not going to show those. They cover up part of it anyway. But it just starts you out on a boat, and with a pretty basic quest to take down some of these target dummies here. I do like the new tooltips, or the help tips that pop up. They're not very intrusive. I wish there was an option to turn them off. Maybe they'll add that later. But they're generally pretty helpful for a new player. The old ones I wasn't a big fan of.
I need to discuss this storm with the helmsman.
And you do level up pretty quickly, as you would expect for the first 10 levels. After the target dummies, we end up just fighting this one guy. He's really interesting. You see how he hops around. Like he tells you, you got to keep him in front of you, and that's a pretty good thing to teach new players, I think. Yeah, you see, we're already level 2, and we actually pick up Arcane Shot at level 2.
Thank the light. Are you injured?
So after that, your boat kind of wrecks. Again, the cutscene's not really there. And then you land on Exile's Reach, which is amazing. Like, seriously, I'm very impressed with this place. It looks incredible. I have everything at max. I just wanted to double check. And yeah, it's a really, really nice looking zone. In the first quest, they just have you killing some murlocs on the beach here that took some of your supplies.
Take back our supplies, but avoid fighting too many of them at once.
So it's just a pretty generic kill quest, but I noticed at this point, the first mob I killed, yeah, Hunter is doing a lot of damage here, and that's the trend through this entire thing. I've only done this on one other character, and that was a rogue, and I was doing much less damage, so I don't know if Hunter is just overtuned right now or what.
Of course I did.
But I do really like this beach area with the Murlocs. I feel like they look, it's just a really nice looking area as well. And then the next quest, they just have us killing some wildlife around here to get meat to rescue one of the crew members. I noticed something way over there. We'll take a look at that guy later. Again, everything is basically dying in 2 globals. I kind of got distracted at that point and started just looking around. I noticed this Zandalari ship wrecked in the water here. And there's a lot of nice touches like that. There's a lot of things just in the water and dotted around the island. And if you noticed on the Alliance boat, we were carrying animals. I thought it was kind of interesting that there was a Zandalari one where they were apparently transporting animals, and that one got trapped and drowned. It's kind of dark. Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at this giant here. So he's just sitting here, not part of any quest. Yeah, that's all he does. He just throws you back to your guys. There's no reason for you to actually go over to that side either. So I'm not sure why that's a thing. Even if you tell him no, you don't want him to throw you, he just picks you up and throws you anyway. Once you get all those meat, it does have you like right click on them to cook them. I thought it'd be a place for them to turn in or to introduce cooking, but they decided not to, I guess, for some reason. In fact, there are no professions in this area at all. And then they have you kill a named quillboar. It's kind of cool that they have you gradually starting to fight, you know, bigger enemies. And then I just decided to look around here to see, you know, what was around. And there was this, like, dragon fossil or stone with a dragon etched on it. And I was like, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen that before. And there are treasures here. They don't actually have any interesting loot, though. There's no toys or anything that I found in any of them. And not very far in, you get a really nice-looking weapon. I thought that was a nice touch. You just go from a basic ass bow to that pretty cool looking alliance bow. And then you have your first vehicle quest. It's a pretty standard one. You just hit the button to plow those things over. After that, you end up in this like spider cave, rescuing more guys from your boat. And then there's actually a small little named guy in here who has a pretty cool looking model. And he's one of the few guys here that doesn't go down in a global. And the person you were rescuing in here was a druid, so it's kind of funny. He hits the self-destruct button on his lair, and then you just ride the druid you saved on out of here. Then I just had to notice this place looks amazing. I just love everything about it. Design-wise, this is definitely one of my favorite zones in the game now. In fact, it might be my favorite zone. I like. I've already played a lot of Bastion, and I like this better. It looks amazing to me. And there are some side quests dotted about Exile's Reach as well, like this one here. There's not a whole lot to this quest. You're just kind of rescuing this guy, but I thought it was kind of cool. These side quests over here. And then he gives you a nice speed boost for a while. Pretty cool. And hey, there's some dragon bones. That's cool. Then you have this quest where you're rescuing the mage from the boat, and you have waves of harpies and wargs coming at you. That's pretty cool.
Keep fighting. I'll heal you. We can beat it if we fight together. For the Alliance!
And it actually ends up in a pretty cool fight, I thought. It kind of shows you how to avoid ground AoEs. I think it was the first mob I fought here that had, you know, actual mechanics to them.
target.
Counting on me.
And then he actually drops a bag, which is pretty nice. And then after that, you're immediately led into this treasure. I just thought that was a nice little progression there. You have that quest with the cool fight, and then you get led into the rare, and then you get led into a treasure there. I thought that was just a nice little sequence of gameplay. Because you will probably want those health potions later, too. And then coming back to turn that in, this this side quest popped up. So there's just a sign with a note left by the ogres on the island. And it says it's a 5-player elite quest. As a hunter, obviously, I can probably solo it. So that's what we're going to do. And I really, really like his lair. And you can see there have been ogres trying to kill him, like it says on the note. Now this is one little thing I don't like is right before this you learn how to use Frost Trap. And then this is like probably the first guy you're going to fight after you get that and he's immune to it. I just thought that was a little bit a bad planning there. But yeah, he goes down pretty easy for a hunter. I'm pretty sure most classes could solo him. And then you got to go back to his lair to turn that in. And you get your first shoulder piece, which is kind of a nice way of getting that. It feels like a little bit of an achievement. Unfortunately, he respawned on me before I got back out of the cave. So I kind of had to kite him around for a little while again. And that was just to double check that he is immune to Frost Trap, which is pretty unfortunate.
It is too far away.
And then I went looking around again, and I swam up this river expecting like a chest or something, but there's actually nothing under it, under the waterfall and under the river. Just this really neat looking cave. I thought that was a nice touch.
All right, recruit. Just act like
And then the next part of the main quest is actually pretty cool. You do this little infiltration of the ogre castle or ogre citadel disguised as an ogre. This one was actually pretty fun.
More sacrifices. Go to. What do we have here? All the sacrifices, we take them to the back. We'll seal them with the war.
And then after that, they just have you do some normal kill quests and
I'll try my best.
other basic quests in the citadel.
How are you?
Once you finish those, you should hit level 10. And then you unlock a specialization, because up until this point you use skills that are just part of your base class. And you also unlock the dungeon, although calling it a dungeon is a little a little generous. It's not really a dungeon. It's not really a dungeon in the traditional sense.
The Naru have not forgotten us.
But before doing the dungeon, I decided to just go look around once more. I did notice this NPC. I assume it's for a class quest or something. But yeah, there's just a dead NPC there that you can't do anything with. And I came back a couple times. It was still there. Then I went looking around. And yeah, there's no fatigue. You just get teleported back to the boat. And yeah. Getting teleported back to the boat is annoying because the only way to get off is to unstuck and take a spirit res. And you do get the full 10-minute res sickness, so have to wait that one out. I just went looking around some more, and again, this zone is amazing. It's one of my favorite zones. It just looks so good. There are a few areas, like little islands and stuff, that don't really have anything to them. I mean, this one had, like, I don't know if it's a dead Vrykul. It was a nice little touch. It's way off to the side, though. Like, no quests take you here or anything like that. I mean, there are still unfinished areas, though. Obviously, like, there's an invisible wall here, and it's clearly a ramp, and it's not even, like, way out in the middle of nowhere. If you look at the map, it does look like there is an area to the north of the island, like you're only on part of the island. So I went up there and tried to discover that, but there's actually nothing there. I don't know if that's something they're going to add later. I'd hope they'd make that more clear on the map. But you do get teleported back to the boat, so that means another res sickness. I'm just going to do the dungeon with the res sickness. I'm not too worried about it. But like I said, calling it a dungeon, that's a little generous. It's more like one of those scenarios because you are in here with the NPCs.
The rest of you focus on taking them down.
And I would actually say this is probably the worst part of the whole experience. It may be that Hunter is overtuned, like I mentioned before, because you see, even with res sickness, my damage isn't that bad. So once the res sickness goes away, I mean, I'm just tearing through all the mobs here. I assume these bosses do have mechanics, but they're dead in like 15 seconds, so I don't get to see any of them.
Understood, Captain.
But I do think the area looks nice. I know it's I know they're just reusing stuff from like WoW, but it still does look good. And it's pretty cool to get a blue drop from that first boss. It feels nice taking that into this final battle, which does look really cool. I love the atmosphere for this fight. But again, that guy just went down in no time, so if he had any mechanics, I didn't get to see them. And hey, look, there's a dragon. That's really cool. I think that they had that foreshadowing with like the dragon fossil and then the dragon bones at that temple. I really like that. That's pretty cool. I was trying to see if he had a tail swipe. I don't think I got close enough.
We've done it. The ogres and their dragon have been defeated, and the storm is cleared. Recruit, speak to me when you're ready to leave the Citadel. We need to find a way back to Stormwind.
And I got a trinket for him, which is pretty cool. That way you have pretty much a full set of gear by the time you get out of here. Although the ring I have, I did get that as a random drop from a spider. So you may not have a ring when you get out of here. And then after finishing that, you just get rescued by the Alliance, and you are whisked off to Stormwind. And then once you get to Stormwind, you actually get a little tour around Stormwind from this gnome, and he'll take you to get your mount. Although it's a little strange, you don't get to pick your mount, they just give you one. And then you learn about specializations. Although you can pick those immediately at level 10, they don't really tell you about them until you get here to Stormwind. They show you how guards work, which is kind of nice as well.
Greetings.
And then you go meet Anduin. And after that, you get sent off to BFA. And you just pick up at level 10 or 11. I made it to 11 in BFA. So that's pretty much how this Alliance scenario goes, and I have to say I am really impressed with it. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. I really enjoyed the zone. The story was also really cool. I appreciated that it wasn't, you know, this big cosmic story with old gods and titans. It was just like a small story. There's some ogres doing some bad shit. You need to stop them. And my class felt pretty damn nice for going 1 to 10. I mean, if I compare that to 1 to 10 in Classic, it's that, I mean, that's terrible as a hunter. That's the worst part of Classic. Some of the worst gameplay in WoW, just stutter stepping for 10 levels. So getting your abilities a lot faster, especially these core ones, like it's really nice to have Arcane Shot, Steady Shot. I'm not too worried about Steady Shot, but having like Arcane Shot and Freezing Trap, Aspect of the Cheetah, Wing Clip, all those really quickly felt pretty good and made the class feel really smooth for those early levels. One thing I wish they would do for the story is when you're kind of just sitting around in between quests, the NPCs are all standing there, but they don't really do anything. In FF14, what they do is there will be those main characters standing there, and you can just talk to them, and they'll tell you like what they're thinking or what's going on, and you can learn a lot more about the story that way. I feel like that would have been a really cool thing for them to add in this, you know, kind of tightly packed narrative like that. It's kind of a missed opportunity. Another thing is it's not actually instanced. Only parts of this are. So it's kind of strange. You'll see other players popping in and out when they're really... I wouldn't expect there to be other people. We crash landed on this island. It's kind of weird for other players to be around there. But on the other hand, it's kind of weird to even have an instanced off area to start in at all. Because I always think of an MMO, you know, you get dropped into that main area, and then, you know, there's dozens of other players running around, and there's some guy that's like, I'd go kill 20 of these wolves that are obviously not causing us any problems because there's a million of them. You know, that sort of thing, like you have in Elwyn or boars in Durotar. That's the kind of thing that I think of with a MMO starting area. And there were also class quests, which was really cool. I think there were 3 or 4 hunter class quests. I'm going to talk about hunters specifically in another video, like the level 1 to 15 or so is where I'm at now. Hunters, I'm going to talk about that in another video. But the class quests were actually pretty interesting, and the way that they gave you abilities through class quests as a hunter was also really nice. All in all, though, I was super impressed with this. I did not expect it to be this good at all. This is probably my favorite questing since Wrath, really. It's just that good. I liked it better than all the BFA zones. The only one in BFA that I thought was like a really solid zone was probably Drustvar. I thought that was really cool. You kind of started a small, you know, somebody being accused of a witch, and then you ended up with, what's his name, Gorak Tool and all that. But I definitely liked it better than any of the other BFA zones. I liked it better than all the Legion zones. And I liked it better than WoD questing. I liked it better than any Cataclysm questing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to the Horde one, which should be coming up really soon. And I think that is a good place to end it. make sure you stick around because I've got a lot more Shadowlands coverage coming after this one. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, let me know, and I'll see if I can get that in a video, or at least reply to you in the comments about it. But that's going to be it for this one. I really appreciate you all watching, and I will see you all for the next one.
I know you have a bright future ahead of you. Stay safe out there, and always remember your training.